Hello there guys, my name is Vasilio and today we're going to be kind of judging Assassin's Creed. So it's basically a tier list of Assassin's Creed. Personally into Assassin's Creed games from the first day, from 2007 when I first got my PS3 to all the way to this date. So I played every single one of Assassin's Creed, the major titles, excluding the mobile games I guess, but yeah, I've got a lot of history with this franchise, so it will be interesting for me to go through them one by one to kind of show what I think about them. And yeah, there are some ups and downs, through the franchises, but it would be nice to kind of discuss them as well. So yeah. But also to report a side note, these are my opinions, so whatever I choose here might not be what you think. So, like I said, this is very opinionated. This is my opinion, and I do have very strong opinion related to Assassin's Creed because I am very passionate about this game. And lastly, before we start, please do like and subscribe. It really does matter, like for me personally, because we're still small, so I'm trying to grow, I'll say. If you do not like the video, yeah, leave a dislike. To start with, let's go with Assassin's Creed 1. Now, this game came out in 2007 to Xbox 360 and PS3, and oh boy, this game has genuinely got me hooked. This game is the one that kind of got me started personally into this franchise. Like, when you first start on that first mission, you have to do your first leap of faith.
My leg! Quiet, or the Templars will hear.
To sneak around the Crusaders in Masyaf, like, that was so badass, and I genuinely remember it even now. Like, it's just very nostalgic. This game is so good. I love the setting, the Third Crusaders in Jerusalem, in Damascus, and all that kind of settings that it gives you. Now, looking back at it now, the game kind of aged well, let's just say, like a like a wine. If you look at it in modern perspective, yes, the game might be sluggish and it might be not as, smooth or whatnot, but still, nostalgic wise, this game was amazing. The setting, the whole atmosphere, what it gave you, the music, it was very, very, very like atmospheric. And if you look back at the story wise though, it's not the best because it is very repetitive, so you have to do the same thing over and over again. Like, you have to kill, what was it, like 10 Templars or 10 people that that's you've been given to assassinate, and in that department it lacks, but it is still one of my favorite Assassin's Creed games. The whole setting, it just makes it up to it. So yeah, I believe Assassin's Creed 1 goes for A. It's not the perfect, but it still holds up really high. Going back to the second game, Assassin's Creed 2. Now, this is, I believe, what revolutionized this game. If you look back at it, every time you ask somebody who played Assassin's Creed, they'll always say Ezio. Ezio is like the bread and butter of this game. Like, this is one of the best character design, character story, character arc that Ubisoft has ever created in their whole fucking business existence. Like, they created this character so well that other characters that came afterwards, they were kind of a bit like a letdown because people expected high expectations because Ezio's story was so good. And second Assassin's Creed has improved on Assassin's Creed 1 so much in terms of story, in terms of the maps, in terms of, exploration and, unlockables. But one thing that kind of stuck on me with Assassin's Creed 2 was the story. Like, Ezio is such a legendary story, which was, watching his family get murdered right in front of his own eyes was actually heartbreaking.
In the absence of any compelling evidence to the contrary, I am bound to pronounce you
Guilty. You and your collaborators are hereby sentenced to death.
You are the traitor, Roberto, and one of them. You may take our lives this day, but we will have yours in return, I swear! We will!
Father! There! Grab the boy! He's one of them!
I'll kill you for what you've done!
Guards! Arrest him!
As a, player, you cared for the, the main character, and you kind of felt bad. And this is what makes this game so strong, because Assassin's Creed 2 done everything what Assassin's Creed 1 done, but much more better. And plus, you can swim. So, for me personally, Assassin's Creed 2 will go on S tier. This game is so good. And yes, in terms of, if you go back to it, yes, it's outdated now in terms of modern gaming, gameplay. But still, if you ignore all the, gameplay, physics and all that kind of stuff, this game still kicks ass. So yeah, this game deserves to be on top tier. Next one will be Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Now, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was pretty much Assassin's Creed 2 but continuation, and I can't really be mad at that. Compared to Assassin's Creed 2, this game kind of offered just only one map. From what I remember, it was Rome, and it was nothing too special, but it was basically Assassin's Creed. It's just continuation. It's like a trilogy, let's say. So Assassin's Creed Brotherhood did add a few extra stuff though to to add into its new gameplay abilities, like for example hiring your own assassins. Like you can call in your assassins to attack other people, which was really badass, and it was fun. And I believe Brotherhood was one of the first games that actually allowed you to parachute as well. So yeah, they did add a few other gimmicks in there, like parachuting and all that kind of stuff, but it was pretty much continuation of Assassin's Creed 2. And what makes this game really good also is just Ezio. It's exactly the same, the reason why I loved Assassin's Creed 2. It's just continuing Ezio's story, and this game did not disappoint as well. The story it just gives. It's really good, and I really did enjoy this game. However, I'm gonna rank this game A, and the only reason I'm ranking it A is because yes, it is a good game. The story is good, but it wasn't as revolutionary like Assassin's Creed 2, which made a massive difference from Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed 2. Like it was just basically the same game, but again, I'll put it as A, and A is still a good, section down there. So I believe A is good. Assassin's Creed Revelations. Now, this game, I kind of have ups and downs, because I remember, nostalgic wise, I remember from my perspective from when I played this game. One of the problems I had with Revelations was I was burned out. Because Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, they were quite similar games, and Revelations is quite exactly the same one as well, but with worse gimmicks added into the game, like the tower and defending, which was annoying as fuck, and it didn't add anything important. The only reason I've pretty much loved Revelations was because it was set in Constantinople, which is Istanbul, and as a Turkish person myself, I quite enjoyed playing in Turkey, you know what I mean? Other than that, the story as well, which was, again, it was the last chapter for Ezio, and not only Ezio, but also Altair, from the first game, and closing the chapter for this character was absolutely emotional. However, because I was so burned out, I found Revelations to be a little bit more boring compared to, you know, Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3. So, it's not a bad game, but I personally did not enjoy it as much. But the story is what makes this game so legendary. I would like to give it A. Just for the story, I would give it A. But because of all the other gimmicks and stuff, I would like to give it a B. It's not a bad game. It's just to the point where I didn't enjoy it as much as Assassin's Creed 2 or Brotherhood. Those two games are really good, but Assassin's Creed Revelations quite lagged behind compared to those two games. And also they fucked up Desmond's facial. Like, what the fuck? Like, from Assassin's Creed 1, 2, and 3, like, Desmond's face has been so weird. They've been changing it. So, but yeah, I believe Revelations deserve to be on a B section. If it was just a story alone, I'll say A, but with other little gimmicks that they added, I'll say B would be suitable for this game. Assassin's Creed 3. Now, this can be a very hot topic because in terms of internet, people hated Assassin's Creed 3. I'm not sure why. As in, I do know why, but it's to the point where people didn't enjoy it because I think it might have been different because they didn't enjoy Connor compared to Ezio, and this is what I said about Ezio's character. It's been developed so well that it kind of leaves bad taste when you go to a different character. Connor wasn't as interesting as Ezio, I'll give you that, but one thing Connor gave me was a difference, especially in terms of map, in terms of, you know, new gimmicks in the game, like for example animals and frontiers, so it's more of like a woody, foresty nature, especially like snowy. Like, you know, you can get rope darts, you can hang people, like that was badass. But one thing I absolutely loved about, you know, Assassin's Creed 3 was the combat. The combat felt brutal. Like when you punch somebody in this game, you feel like every single one of their bones are cracking. I love that fucking feeling that this game gave. And also they also gave you, like, you know, musket. You can pick up like muskets and shoot. I think that was one of the first ones, as in you did have like a pistol, like hidden pistol, but this one you can have like a, you know, you can pick up muskets and you can actually kill with people and start hitting them with them. But like I said, in terms of community, they did not like this game a lot, and I can understand because intro of this game where you play the main character, it takes like around 4 hours. It starts off very slow, but once you get into it, it is so good, and I personally feel like it is good. It does have its ups and downs. The story isn't as good as, you know, Ezio's trilogy, I'll say, but I think this game deserves B. As in, it even deserves A. Okay, look, I'm gonna put it as A. I'm not gonna say this is a bad game, but Assassin's Creed 3 deserves more. It genuinely changed the game's, you know, gameplay, like the foresty, the animals. It gave me more like a live, you know, world, and I love it. And I believe Assassin's Creed 3 deserves to be A. Can it be better? Yes, but I personally loved it, and because of that change, it kind of got me back into this game. Actually, you know what? This game deserves B. Okay, I'll explain why. The only reason it fucking deserves B is because they butchered Desmond's story in this game. I nearly forgot about that. They butchered Desmond's story. They butchered Desmond's, like, you know, this is the game where the, you know, the real missions, like the real world, you know, campaign, it was going really well. It was getting more interesting. Then they just fucked up. They didn't know what the fuck they were doing. So, you know what? B. Assassin's Creed 3 goes to the B. Okay, next one. Assassin's Creed Libertation. Look, I didn't play this game. I didn't have PS Vita back in the day. Now I know I can download this game and play it right now. I got it on my PS5. I can download it on PS4 version. But no, I haven't played this game, so I'm just gonna leave this one on the list. I'm not gonna bother doing this one. But yeah, next one, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Now, this is gonna be little up and down for me. This game has been praised. Like, when I say praised, like, people loved Black Flag. People loved the fuck out of this game. And for me personally, I loved it, but it didn't feel as impactful, let's just say. When I play Assassin's Creed game, I really do focus on the story. The story has to be spot on, and Black Flag story was a bit disappointing. Some people like should agree, or some people will not agree, because the main character wasn't as memorable. The only thing memorable about Black Flag is the gameplay, is the bolt gameplay and the piracy. It's just, that's what has been, you know, focused on this game. So when it comes to story, I don't really remember much about it, and that kind of explains the most about it, you know? Like, story is important, especially Assassin's Creed, you know? What's going on? However, the gameplay was so amazingly well done, especially the bolt gameplay, which they kind of made a side game of it. What was it? Bones and Skulls, which didn't release yet? What fucking cucks. But looking back at it now, the main story missions, the way they design the missions as well, is terribly done in this game. It's just go, follow this guy, sneak there, sneak here, follow this guy, follow that guy, oh, kill that guy, but sneak there again, follow this guy without getting detected. It's the main missions are just this, and it got to the point where it was not interesting. All I wanted to do was just go on the sea and kill boats and just jump on the boats and do piracy, I guess. But for me, this game is, you know, it deserves a praise, but I didn't enjoy it as much compared to the other games because there was not much Assassins about it. And when there was, the missions weren't as memorable, like I said, but the gameplay was so fun. So I'm gonna put this as... You see, the thing is, because of gameplay, I would like to put it at A, but because I felt a bit disappointed by the story, I would like to put it at B. And Assassin's Creed Black Flag is a really good game, but for a pirate boat game, if it's for Assassin's Creed, then I'm sorry, but the structure of this, you know, the missions, the what you do, the story, it wasn't as good. So yeah, people are not probably gonna, you know, agree with this one, but B is, I believe, is a good place to put Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Assassin's Creed Rogue, I'm not gonna get into it much, but this was like a side game for PS3 and Xbox 360. Personally, I'm just gonna go for C. Actually, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna go for D. It's just another Assassin's Creed game, Rogue. It was like Black Flag, but even more downscaled. The missions were a bit more interesting. It gave a bit of a Templar view, but I didn't really find this as exciting or interesting. So Rogue would be a D. Now, going back to Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, this game has blew my mind. Now, I don't know how a company can make a game like this with amazing animations where it kind of stands out to the point where they don't do it anymore. It's like, imagine they peaked so much with this game in terms of animations to the point where it just went downhill from here. I think Assassin's Creed Unity has done everything exceptional. Like, apart from story, like the whole world, the world building, the amount of pedestrians, the amount of, you know, how busy the world is and how much they portrayed, you know, the riots and stuff. It was amazing. It was mind-blowing. And this was on PlayStation 4 when it first released, and Xbox 360. So you have to think about it. This was like proper like next gen type thing. And I think they were way ahead of time. I think those consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, couldn't handle it well enough to the point where it was very buggy. It was extremely buggy. A low, low FPS. Like frames were like all over the place, lower than 30 most probably. And the bugs, holy shit, amount of bugs this game has been infested with. It was bad. It was genuinely unplayable at one point, but I've got to give credit where it's due. Assassin's Creed Unity is one of my favorites. As in, it doesn't pass Ezio's trilogy, but what makes it really good is that parkour. The parkour was so fun, going through the city, and it was basically so good to the point where it blew every single Assassin's Creed in terms of animations, and it kind of blews every single Assassin's Creed even now. Like, even, you know, when you talk about Valhalla, which I'm going to go through it, but Unity has better animations than all of these games combined, and they kind of forgotten about it.
Things are gonna get seriously bad for you! You are! Get out of here right now! Right.
I wish they kind of go back and optimize this game for, you know, PS5 right now, so I could play at 60 FPS and whatnot, but I absolutely loved Unity. And you have to consider, Unity was one of the first proper like co-op multiplayer that's been implemented. Assassin's Creed 2 and Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and all that kind of stuff, they all had multiplayer, like, you know, you have to go and find people and stuff, but Unity kind of gave more of a co-op approach to it. It's more of, you can free roam, if you see it like that. You can do stuff with your friends, like missions. There's like special missions that's being preserved, like created for you and your friends, and that kind of gave you extra bonuses and cash to earn, and that was actually really interesting. I don't know what went wrong with this game during the, you know, building it up, but I think they were way ahead of their time, because those consoles couldn't handle Unity well enough. And I wish they made this kind of game again, where they followed this kind of animations. I absolutely loved Unity, and the only reason I loved it is because of its animations. The story is lacking, like I said, it's not as interesting, it's just like meh, even compared to, you know, all the Assassin's Creed that came out. But like I said, the map, the world building, everything, even with the glitches, I'm gonna give this game B. And, you know, like I said, I want to give this game A as well, because of all the animations. It's just next level. Like, it was so well done, and the graphics look so amazing. As in, now it kind of looks outdated because of, you know, it still runs on PS4 and Xbox One versions, which is like, what, like 700p, 1080p? I think it's less than 700, it's less than 1080p, but if it run on 4K 60 FPS now with the current gen consoles we have, if they optimize it, this game will be A for me. But because it's not, I'm gonna go for B. And, you know, if I was rating this game on the launch day because of bugs and stuff, I'll put it as D, but I'm gonna put it as B. Personally, I believe Unity deserves to be at B, because not because of the bugs, obviously it had its problems, but it pushed the boundaries of Assassin's Creed. It pushed the boundaries of the developers of this game. It pushed the boundaries of Ubisoft to actually create something that is very unique and very well done, which is something I can't say now in terms of Ubisoft, because all their animations are in their current games so suck, absolutely suck, which I'm gonna go through with the next Assassin's Creed. The facial animations, everything, this game perfected it. This is one of the best animations, the best mocap I've ever witnessed from an Ubisoft game, and because it pushed the boundaries of this company, I believe it deserves B. Yeah, there are other stuff, like I said, other people might not agree with me on this one. You know, some people might say C, but personally, I'll say Unity will go for a B. Now, next up is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, I enjoyed playing this game because I currently do live in London, so seeing London in Victoria era was interesting. But I feel like it was a step back from Unity in terms of animations, in terms of city building, and I can't blame them. They had to be really safe with this game because of the, you know, backtrack Unity got, because of all the bugs and game crashing, you know, bugs and all that kind of stuff. So they had to decrease the, you know, civilian densation, and they had to, you know, pull back some of the stuff. But Assassin's Creed Syndicate gives its own, you know, little, you know, different game in a way. It's just another Assassin's Creed game for me personally. It didn't do anything special. It kind of did introduce, you know, like, you know, horses and, you know, horse carts and all that kind of stuff, because it was the most, you know, advanced in terms of time in Assassin's Creed franchise ever. But I personally did not enjoy Syndicate as much as I enjoyed the previous games. Is it maybe because I was burned out? Is it maybe because I didn't really pay attention? Maybe there was other games, I don't know, but Syndicate didn't really click with me, especially with the characters. In terms of characters, this game did add a new feature, like for example, you can play as Evie and you can play as Jacob, which is two characters. You can actually swap around with them. Like, let's just say like GTA 5, you know, when you switch it to Trevor or when you switch it to Michael or whatever. The game has its unique moments, but like I said, it wasn't as revolutionary compared to what Unity gave in terms of, like, you know, animations and stuff. It gave something similar, and for me personally, it didn't really stick with me. And that, like I said, story-wise, it just didn't hit with me right. It's forgettable. For me, I'm gonna go D with Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Origins. Now, as in, do I have to really even explain? This game blew me away. This game blew me the fuck away. This game was so good. I can't express how fucking much I love this game. Like, this game has got my love back to Assassin's Creed. Especially like from Syndicate, like I was so burned out coming back to Origins, which was different, which was very unique, and the time, you know, the historical era of it, which was ancient Egypt, has blew me away. I absolutely love this time frame. Everything about this game, I explored the map from inch to inch because how exciting and how interesting it was. You would always discover something new, and come on, sliding down the pyramids was one of the best things ever. The story-wise, Bayek was one of the most interesting characters I've ever played since Ezio. Like, since Ezio, there's been how many? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's been like 6 characters, and none of them were as interesting as Ezio. And Bayek gave something different. Bayek was absolutely amazing. His, you know, his acting and his voice acting was so well done, to the point where I was actually very like interested in his story, which is a shame because they didn't actually continue the story.
And here is your nobody! May the Hidden One greet you. The Lord of the Duat awaits.
And this is one problem I am having with Assassin's Creed, is because once they make this amazing characters, they don't continue the story like they did with Ezio, so you kind of forget them quickly. But other than that, Origins kind of gave a lot of new stuff, and yeah, it's very up and down because this game kind of introduced the RPG elements. Some people would love it, some people would not like it, but personally, I didn't mind it. I absolutely loved everything that it gave, and it was in the middle, like the RPG and that Assassin's Creed-y cutscenes and cinematics. So it done both ones, like, you know, the both worlds happy in a way. So I absolutely love this game, and this game deserves to be S tier. This is one of my favorites Assassin's Creed games. Like Assassin's Creed 2 and 1, they all have, you know, separate space in my heart, but Origins is just like something else. Origins is just, it will be stuck with me in terms of my memories and all that kind of stuff. This game is really well done. And to be fair, there was absolutely zero bugs when you, as in, let's just not say zero bugs, but there was bugs, but there was no game-breaking bugs at all. This game was very polished when it was released, and I'm absolutely happy that this game exists. I absolutely love Origins, and it deserves to be S tier. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Now, I can't say the same thing for Odyssey. Like, holy shit, this game burned me so much. Now, I can't really debate this because, like, people on the internet love this game. I don't know, like, they praise this game to the end, and I'm like, really? Is this the Assassin's Creed game that you guys want? I'm not talking about the RPG elements. I'm not talking about, you know, all the fighting and whatever. I'm talking about the story. One thing that bugged me about this game, one of the massive things that bugged me was the animations. Like, compared to Assassin's Creed Unity and this game, it's just like total different. It's like, and it didn't improve, it just went backwards. It went backwards, so backwards, that to the part where the animations, the facial expressions, is just like, no, it just doesn't exist. For me, what this game really does well is obviously the map. Open world, the map is beautiful, it's really nice to explore, but it just felt like a bit same to me when I was playing it. It just felt same, and it wasn't as interesting as, you know, Ancient Egypt, like Origins. And the map was so massive to the point where I was feeling a bit overwhelmed. And is that really good overwhelmed or bad overwhelmed? I'm not entirely sure, because it was a bit, you know, meh to me. One of the reasons why I hate Odyssey, I wouldn't say hate, but I don't like Odyssey, is because of facial animations. One of the things that really gets me into Assassin's Creed is the story. And when you have very forgettable story, like Odyssey, but added with facial animations and facial expressions like as if the characters are talking to a brick wall, it just doesn't help. It just doesn't give that impact. It just doesn't give that effect that other Assassin's Creed games do give. Like, for example, this is going to be spoilers, but on one of the DLCs, your character has a baby. And it gets to the point where the baby's mum or baby's dad, which depends on which character you choose, they die, and your character was really in love with them. But when your character just cries, but their facial animation looks stiff and they just don't look sad in their facial animation, it just doesn't hit the same compared to how Assassin's Creed 2, when Ezio's family was dying, you know, when they were hanged, and Ezio seeing that his facial, his facial impressions and how the main actor acted him, his voice and everything, it was so believable, and it kind of hits you in the heart. But when it comes to Odyssey, with this kind of scene, it's just a character just standing still. The facial animation, there's like two animation, like the character moving, and the facial animation just look exactly the same, regardless they're sad, happy, or angry. It just doesn't hit the same. I'm sorry, but it was so badly done. The animation, it just killed it for me. That immersion, like, which is very important when you're playing a video game, that immersion was killed for me. And story-wise, it was very forgettable. it was not good. I'm not sure why people love it. I'm guessing people love Odyssey because of the open world and RPG elements, but for me it just felt like repetitive, very repetitive. Like I have to go sneak into a camp, kill the camp leader, and do this, do that, then do the same thing a million times. And it got to the point where I was like, nearly gave up. I was bored. This game bored me to death. But I did complete the game overall. But like I said, Odyssey, it just done everything what other Assassin's Creed's done, but worse. In my own opinion, it just didn't do well. And for me, because of this, I would like to give Assassin's Creed Odyssey D. I'm gonna give it D because I just didn't enjoy it as much. And like I said, that facial animations is the key reasons why I couldn't give it higher. The story had no impact, and open world was nice, you know, at some points, but it got to the point where it was just too overwhelming, and I personally got bored. It does some stuff good, it just doesn't hit right with me. So yeah, for me, Odyssey goes for D. Valhalla. Now, Valhalla is just disappointment. I absolutely love Viking lore. I love Vikings. I love the whole Viking stories and, you know, how brutal they are. And Vikings don't suit Assassin's Creed. I'll tell you this why. It would suit, but when you hear about Vikings and what they do, it's brutal. Vikings are brutal. They basically, when you say when a Viking raids a village, they plunder, they kill people, they kill innocent people, they rape people. This is historical. This is what they did. But when you're as a Viking, you know, when you're a Viking, vicious Viking attacking somewhere, let's say a village, you're gonna plunder a village, it's still there, you know. You enter a village, you run into a village, which is cool, but then you're not allowed to kill civilians. As a Viking, you're not allowed to do that. And it's just like, am I playing a PG Viking game? Like, am I like it's just like, it's Viking, but it's very PG. It's like, you're not allowed to do a lot of the badass stuff that they did. Obviously, to the extent, you know, there's boundaries. You can't just do stuff in a video game, otherwise they'll get, but I believe Ubisoft kind of played it very safe, and they just kept it very minimal, and they didn't explore that Viking, you know, feel as much. In terms of exploration, England was a bit, I don't know, it was not interesting. I did not find this map interesting at all. It, like Odyssey, it was very, it's just overfilled, and story-wise, it's forgettable. Again, it's just, the story is just very forgettable. I'm not sure what's going on with this game, but Ubisoft needs to either hire better writers, make it much more interesting, or more important of all, hire better facial animations. Because yes, the facial animations were a little bit more improved from Odyssey, but like I said, it's just the same thing again. It's just the facial animations, everything, it's just not good. For me, this game lacked everything that it's Assassin's Creed, and I did not enjoy it. It's not, I wouldn't say I didn't enjoy it, but I did not like it. It's just, it doesn't give that Assassin's Creed vibes. It just doesn't give that Assassin's Creed, how do you say, like, I don't know. It's just, this game, no, it did not hit me. Story-wise, it was forgettable. The only good thing that this game actually done as a story-wise, it got rid of the woman protagonist, which was very well hard tried by Ubisoft to make it like the next Desmond, but it was boring and it was uninspired. Like, if they gave her more, let's say, more purpose into the game, she would have been more interesting. So Valhalla would go for E for me. It was not good. It's just there, another Assassin's Creed which is overly bloated and overly, it's just repetitive and not good for me personally. But yes, this is my Assassin's Creed tier list. Now, you might not agree with it, you might not dislike it, you might agree, you might dislike. It's okay, it's optional, but this is my personal opinion. I believe the golden era of Assassin's Creed was the trilogy era, Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations, and after that it kind of stayed mid, and after that it just went downhill for me personally. The new Assassin's Creeds were just like questionable, other than Origins, to be honest. Origins was so good. I love Origins. But yeah, overall Assassin's Creed, you know, let's see what Mirage will bring, because I'm really excited to go for old school classic type Assassin's Creed game, and Assassin's Creed needs a bit of a change at the moment, because the RPG element, it's not for me. As in, I'm not really complaining about the RPG elements, it's more of how they handle it, how the story goes, how the characters are written, and I believe they just went a bit downhill. I want more of a Assassin's Creed of lore. I want more assassins, you know what I mean? A game about Assassin's Creed. I want more Creed, I want more assassin, like how the first game done, because when you look at Assassin's Creed 1, the Creed, it was very like, you actually felt like it was a secret Creed, and it kind of mattered. But on the other games, that Creed was just like, you're just like a solo person, and that Creed really didn't matter, if that makes sense. In terms of story, Ubisoft needs to improve. One thing I'll say that needs to be improved, like two things: writing in these games and character animations and facial expressions. Because if those two kind of lacks, those three, let's say, I'm sorry, but you don't have an effective game in a way. You need to hit people with the gameplay, the story, and the character arc. It needs to hit people personally. Like, for example, how Red Dead Redemption has done, like Red Dead Redemption 2, like that was really well written game, and Assassin's Creed really needs that. It's a franchise that has potential to be a lot of stuff, and I believe Ubisoft is currently butchering it, let's just say. But yeah, this is my tier list, Assassin's Creed. Thank you for watching. Like I said, please do like and subscribe if you agree, and if you don't agree, please do write in the comment section what you don't agree with it. I can have a little bit of a debate on why that is, but yeah, thank you for watching, and this is Vasilia. Bye.